Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about inventory and really the costing of inventory. What you have to be careful with when you're thinking about costing inventory is that sales price, the price you sell the inventory for, is irrelevant. Sometimes you'll see that showing up in problems. But when we're costing inventory, we're trying to figure out what we actually paid for it. So there are two common systems and then a variety of subsystems based on those. One is the perpetual method of costing inventory, and the other is the periodic method. We're not going to focus on the periodic method in the class. This method would have us record all the purchases when they came in, and then once a month do an adjustment to put some of them back into inventory. So we treat all the purchases as expenses first, and then we go back and put some into inventory. The perpetual method is the method we'll be using, and this is where we show every piece of inventory coming in as a debit to inventory and a credit to accounts payable. And then we try to figure out sale by sale, how much is sold and what the price is. So with the perpetual method, there are four possible systems we could use. We could use specific identification, average cost, FIFO, and LIFO. So with specific identification, we would figure out exactly from an invoice how much each piece cost us. This is the kind of system we would use if we were doing big, heavy inventory like cars, where the individual price of each item is important. We also might use average cost, and this one would be where we just look at the average cost of all the items in inventory, divide the total cost of the whole inventory by the number of items, and come up with average cost. FIFO is where we would decide that the first items in are the first ones we sell. I want to caution you here that this is the way almost all businesses work in life. They may not be perfect FIFO, but generally the old items that come in, they try to get out first. But just because that's what happens in real life, it does not mean that's what happens in accounting. In accounting, you're allowed to choose any of these four methods, the three I've already mentioned. And then also LIFO, last in, first out, where we assume that the last items that just came into inventory are the first ones we sell. Finally, we think about how at the end of a period, we apply the principle of conservatism. And that's the general principle from Chapter 1. The specific principle that we use here is lower of cost or replacement cost. That's actually termed lower of cost or market, but it does not mean lower of cost or sale price. It means lower of cost or replacement cost. Well, good luck on the chapter. Let me know if you have any questions.